right. Hi, guys. Happy Friday. Thanks for joining us. We are Anu and Igor with vinousreverie Wine Merchant out in Walnut Creek, California, and you're watching our show for the adventurous wine drinker. So, thanks for joining us again. And today, what are we having?
We're having a great Greek wine.
Okay,
Yes.
there was a long pause there. I was like, great, what?
So Sklavos wines, Robolo de Cephalonia, Vino di Sasso.
Okay, so the winery is Sklavos,
Yes.
right? And this is,
Yes.
what is the grape?
Robola.
Robola. So is that an indigenous
Yes.
grape?
To Cephalonia is the Ionian island.
Okay.
That right off the coast of mainland Greece.
Yes.
Where this wine is. This grape is grown, and it's indigenous to the island.
Mm-hmm.
So I think either majority or all the Robola grapes that grow on that specific island.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's Clavos makes a obviously a really great expression of it. So it's a obviously very distinctive indigenous grape.
Yes.
Typically makes wines of lemony, acidic
Okay.
character.
Mm-hmm.
So very distinctive to its place.
Okay.
Which is always a big plus for wine.
Terroir, right?
Terroir,
That's what
yeah.
we're talking about.
You want to the wine should express the place where it's from. That's what a lot of wine professionals and I think a lot of wine connoisseurs are looking for.
Yeah.
So I think this is the wine for that. And the cool, interesting thing about it with bottle age, so it's a wine that it could age for some time.
I saw that, yeah. I saw that it could age for 10 years.
Up to 10 years, yeah, for a white wine, which is a
It's
big deal.
Yeah.
Well, it's because it's profile and where the place where it's grown. That's also important. Sometimes it takes a character of Riesling.
Yes.
Which is
Yeah,
a
I
big
thought that was
plus.
interesting, and I thought I think I read that the winemaker himself was talking about that. How
Yes.
yeah, it takes on the Riesling flavor profile, which is very interesting because Riesling tastes very different than what we. I mean, I tried it
Yes.
a little bit earlier, and I was like, no, I can't. I guess I can't see how that will happen, but obviously.
Yeah, well, it's fascinating.
Right.
All these really beautiful indigenous grapes that are, in the last, I think, from what I read, the last 20 years, Greece has had a revolution,
Yes.
especially with their white wines. And obviously, our top wine from the tasting last year was a Cirtico from Santorini.
Yeah.
So, we keep finding these beautiful indigenous grapes to Greece, and I think this is another
Yeah,
one of them.
let me show it off again, just
Yeah.
in case folks are just joining us.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, tell me more. We want to talk a little bit about Catalonia?
Yes,
the island of
Cephalonia.
Catalonia. You have a
Yes.
cool map.
Yes, we have an ancient map of Greece. So this is a lot of the wine regions. So here, circled in green is the islands of Cephalonia. So yeah, but there's other cool things on the map. For example, place right here, they're saying black wine that Homer talks about in the Odyssey might have came from this place right here. Crete, obviously a famous historical place. There was another one. Aristotle mentioned a wine from the island of Lemnos. So here,
This is a really cool map.
Yes.
We gotta share that afterwards. You should tag it in the
Yes.
comments so folks can see it. Because yeah, it's pretty cool.
Right. So yeah, we pulled the ancient map. So Cephalonia, the biggest island of the Ionian Islands. I think there's 6 of them.
Right.
So they're the biggest one. Enos Mountain, it kind of stands out. It's about 5,000 not meters, feet high.
I was like, what's a meter?
That would be like 3 feet is basically a meter. So
Thanks.
surrounded by waters.
Yes, it's beautiful. Very yeah. Just imagine turquoise blue waters,
Yes.
scenic mountains. That's what you got going on there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
beautiful.
I mean, beautiful location. So yeah, I mean, you had some cool notes about I think the history of because obviously this is an ancient place with a little cool history for the island.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I went down a history rabbit hole, so I mean, I could give a crash course of the island.
Yeah, sure,
I don't
yeah.
know if anyone is interested,
Of
but
course.
yeah, I always go down these little rabbit holes. So, the island of Catalonia, basically it was named after one of the kings from the Paleolithic era, I
Yes.
guess. And after that, the Romans took it over in 187 BC, and they used it as a naval base. And pretty much from there on out, it was just taken over by different groups. There was a lot of pirate havens there during medieval times. Then it was under Frankish rule. Then it was under Turkish rule in the 1480s, and then the Venetians took it over. Then it was under Spanish rule, French rule, English rule around 1800s, and then in 1864 it finally joined the whole overall part of Greece. It became part of Greece. But
Can
then,
I interrupt you for a second?
Can I say no?
Chime in and say, wow, this wine is distinctive.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, you're just having it right now.
I'm just having it right now.
Okay, yeah, I
on
had
the
it
nose
earlier.
and on the palate, wow, like the flavor profile is amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
I always talk about wines that are distinctive or unique and
Yeah.
memorable, and this is definitely one. When you taste this wine, you will not forget it. It's different. It's not just any other old subtle, or whatever. Not that it's something wrong with being subtle, but it's very memorable wine. But going back to my history crash course, because we left off in 1864 once the island joined Greece, and I just wanted to add that it also had a part of history during World War II. It was taken over by Italy during that time, and the other kind of big historical point that I want to mention about this island is that there was a massive earthquake in 1953, which basically destroyed a lot of the island. And this place is prone to earthquakes.
Yeah, they had many massive earthquakes on the island.
Well, two major ones. I think one was
1800s or something like that?
1800 somewhere around there, and then the most recent one, 1953. But I was reading some quotes from the winemaker, and they still have earthquakes apparently all the time there, but they have a lot of strict earthquake building enforcement rules. So hopefully that'll keep it together. So anyway, sorry, I had to take us down that.
Well, and to piggyback on your history crash course, a little bit of history on the Sklavos family. So this has been a family-owned winery on the island of Catalonia since 1700s.
Yeah.
So over 300 years.
1700s, family-owned winery. That's incredible.
Yes.
Right.
But part of the family actually a little funny detoured and actually were in wheat distribution in Ukraine, Odessa, the place where I was born. So a big port city. So I don't know. Maybe that's how I got into great wine. Is because
you think you're related?
By osmosis or something like that,
Yeah. But they left, right? They left post-revolution.
Well, first they built a big winery in Ukraine.
Okay.
And then when the revolution happened, they decided not a place for them, so they went back to Cephalonia, which sounds like a beautiful place to be anyway. So.
Cool.
So that's a little detour in the family.
Yeah.
And vino di sasso, it literally means wine of stone, and it's kind of in its nature. It grows on limestone soils.
Yes.
And when you taste it, it's got a lot of stony character to it too. That partially, that's I think apt description.
Okay, well let's. Is it okay? Can I talk about tasting notes, or
Yes,
you got anything else?
No, go ahead. Yes.
All right, so you tasted it. I had it before, so I could come up with more substantial tasting notes. So it is very mineral. It is stone. It has some fresh pear elements, but I think overall the thing that makes it very distinctive is that it's very sour and tart, and salty. Yes. It kind of reminds me of kombucha.
Yes.
A little bit.
Yes.
And vaguely reminiscent of cider. So if you're a cider lover, I think that you might enjoy this wine.
And the interesting thing is they're doing everything very natural.
Yes.
And I think this definitely qualifies as a natural wine. It's both organic and biodynamic,
yes.
And very little interference in the winemaking.
Right.
So I think part of the notes you described is also I think describe a lot about natural wines, and this is a great example of a natural wine.
Yes. Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, and thanks for mentioning it's biodynamic and organic. I was just going to get to that.
And then any food pairings that
Well, it's got such a great sour tart feel, and it's salty. I think that it would go great with grilled fish. Fish or sea bass, I think it would go really well.
One of the things I read, was the tomatoes and peppers stuffed with rice, which is I think a local dish.
Okay.
And I'm like, that sounds pretty good.
Well, yeah. Have enough of this wine, you'll get hungry. And then real quick, just before we move on, because I always like to talk about points. So Jan says she gave this 17 out of 20 points.
Yes, Julia Hardin. So she put this wine as wine of the week, and she gave it a 17 out of 20 points.
Okay.
And then Decanter Magazine, they were doing some recommendations of other wineries on the island of Cephalonia, and they actually mentioned that that you must simply try this brilliant Vino di Sasso. So that's another
High praise from Decanter.
from Decanter
Yeah,
magazine. Yeah,
no, it's good.
very distinctive wine. Completely different profile than Assyrtiko. I mean, it's got beautiful acidic backbone, just like Assyrtiko, but in terms of the flavor profile, completely different.
I actually really want to age this bottle because
Yeah.
I'm so intrigued that
Yes.
someone says that it
Yeah.
ages like a Riesling.
Yes. Yes.
Because Riesling has a very different profile. It's petroleum. It's got some kind of floral or green tea. I'm like just so
tropical fruit.
fascinated
Yeah,
by that.
a young Riesling does not taste like this
No.
wine. That's why it's so fascinating that the winemaker, who's obviously has got experience because he's
Right.
been aging these for as long as they've been
No,
making
I'm sure.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
Interesting.
so yeah, that's pretty. I think a great wine. A cool overview from just a beautiful kind of exotic place that I think would be pretty cool to
Travel
visit
to? Yeah.
travel to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is right now the only way to travel to that place, but it's pretty great.
Yeah, no, and I always enjoy when you bring kind of these family-owned, unique gems. You know, I always like to support those family-owned wineries.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I think speaking of families, if we could just kind of maybe stay on the topic, but of wine, but do a little like detour maybe.
So do we do those?
Yeah. I think part of this is what makes this wine so interesting is because it is partially family owned, who care about the history and making quality wine.
Yeah.
Because recently we've had some big transitions in the wine industry here in California. I mean, this week, Willem Selium, which is one of the most famous Russian River Pinot Noir producers, partially sold their winery to a famous Burgundy family,
Okay.
the Favleys, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. A couple of weeks back, Gallo bought a big part of the Castellation portfolio. Then Diamond Mountain Winery, I think they were sold to the Roederer estate. So yeah, there's a lot of transitions, and transitions always have a kind of cautions to them. And what I've noticed is that frequently when like either big corporations or kind of investment firms start buying famous wineries, things happen, and for the worst in the quality of the wine. So I think one of the things is they try to cut costs of making wine and increase production.
Right, because
Yeah.
I mean, you make profit on each bottle that you
Right.
sell. So
Right.
if you have limited production, then yeah, it's kind of getting into your bottom line.
Yeah, and if we like we were mentioning with this wine, where it's all estate fruit, they grow it organically and biodynamically.
Well, biodynamic
Yeah.
means they don't irrigate the field, so
Yeah.
they get lower yield. The
Yeah.
grapes are not, robust
Yes.
with liquid in them. They're lower yield grapes.
So the issue when you increase production is that you start buying grapes, and you don't know where those grapes are
Yeah.
coming from, and the quality of the grapes decreases. Obviously, the quality of the wine will decrease.
Right.
So I think there's plenty of examples of famous California brands that were bought by big corporations, and the quality has tanked. But the branding has remained, and the high price point has remained, but the scores have dropped significantly. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you can kind of tell that. But in this case, I think when the Roederer estate and the Favleys are buying I think since they're wine families and they themselves excel in excellent wines, I think those purchases actually should maintain the high quality
Yeah,
of
because they have
yeah.
a name to
Yeah.
keep up. So
Yeah, but a lot of Napa, has gone corporate, and I think that's part of the reason why, it's so expensive. Everybody says, "Oh, going to Napa, I pay $75 and I get 3 small tastings." It's because a lot of it's corporate owned, and a lot of the quality is just not that good. And this is just an example of where high price and quality have no correlation.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this one, for $27, it's a attractive price point, but the quality is excellent.
Yes, excellent,
And a
yeah.
distinctive wine, completely distinctive wine.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, interesting tangent.
Yeah, yeah, you just kind of brought them in, family versus big corporations, and then just kind of the quality difference.
Yeah. Well, this is a great wine. I definitely suggest you try it if you want to try something a little bit out of the box. I love it. I love the acid structure on this one. So cool.
Very cool. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to try it, we still got some in stock. It's a really fun wine, and just to say it again, it's very interesting and very distinctive.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you guys next Friday for our next wine tasting review.
Thank you, guys.
Take care. Stay
Have a good
safe.
one. Bye.
Bye.